morning, YouTube. Well, I'm going to talk about the story that I just came across on Facebook. So let me read a little bit of this, what the story says first. With this, so someone forwarded this story that Representative King interview he had over the weekend. He says, please listen very carefully to what Rep. King is saying. You will understand the underpinning of the fight against Planned Parenthood, the push to restrict immigration, and the desire to build a border wall. The U.S. is in an all-out fight for who owns this colonized nation. So that's what that's what Bishop Yvette Flunder wrote to this article. So I'm gonna let you guys listen to a little bit of this article. This addresses something that I've always suspected about these Trump people, Republicans in general. They are terrified of the demographic changes. Now, I never tied it into Planned Parenthood, but yes, this could explain why they're so against Planned Parenthood, because I don't see what there is to be against. There'll be a few that are against it on Bible principles of do not kill. But I think this speaks to the real reason that they're so opposed to Planned Parenthood. So I'll play a little bit of this interview.
You wrote that Wilders understands that culture and demographics are our destiny. We cannot restore our civilization with somebody else's babies. This is being condemned by many regions of American politics and citizenry. What did you mean?
Well, of course, I meant exactly what I said, as it always is the case, Chris. And to expand on that a little further, I've been to Europe and I've spoken on this issue, and I've said the same thing as far as 10 years ago to the German people and to any population of people that is a declining population that isn't willing to have enough babies to reproduce themselves. And I've said to them, you cannot rebuild your civilization with somebody else's babies. You've got to keep your birth rate up, and that you need to teach your children your values. And in doing so, then you can grow your population and you can strengthen your culture. You can strengthen your way of life.
Who's somebody else's babies?
Chris, we're a country here that, if you take a picture of what America looks like, you can do it in a football stadium or a basketball court, and you see all kinds of different Americans there. We're pretty proud of that, the different looking Americans that are still Americans. And there's an American culture, an American civilization. It's raised within these children in these American homes. And that's one of the reasons why we require that the President of the United States be raised with an American experience.
I mean, because it seemed like you were doing the opposite. Like you were trying to say someone else's babies means you're either white or you're not right. And as you know, that is anathema to what America's all about. Can we get agreement on that?
Well, here's actually, if you go down the road a few generations or maybe centuries with the intermarriage, I'd like to see an America that's just so homogenous that we look a lot the same from that perspective. I think there's been far too much focus on race, especially in the last 8 years, and I want to see that put behind us, and I want to be us bonded together. I gave a speech on this on Saturday, and half the liberals got up and left the room when I talked about
because when you suggest to anybody, but when
you're looking for hatred is the point, Chris.
But hold on a second, Congressman. If you suggest that somebody else's babies shouldn't be welcome in a country, you seem inherently divisive. That's why I keep asking you, what was your intention with this? And you keep doubling down on it. I mean, you said America's got lots of different faces, that's fine, but you keep making this point that this country needs to be about white people raising their birth rate and not bringing in other people. That's exactly what America is not.
But Chris, I never have made that point. I've never said that. I've been characterized as saying that. I've had the blogs out there say I said that, but I tell them,
all right.
Watch
so that's exactly what he said.
Just listen to the language.
Okay. So I never made the connection with Planned Parenthood, but what I'm getting from this now is he's saying that we shouldn't have Planned Parenthood because he doesn't want white people to have abortions. He said the salvation of this country depends upon there being more white people. So they are afraid of the demographic changes. That's why the wall. That's why the immigration laws. That's why this fight against Muslims coming into the country. They're seeing their numbers change. This terrifies not only Trump but Trump the whole mentality. It's just terrible. I mean, demographics are changing. Why does it have to be one color? I mean, why can't we all just get along in this country? I mean, what does the Bible say? How can the arm say to the hand, "I don't need you"? You need all the parts of a body. You know how to. Anyway, it's a very beautiful Bible passage. Actually, it's a profound point. I love that part about the Bible. There's some serious wisdom all through the pages of the Bible. If things were true 6,000 years ago and they're still true today, that's profound wisdom. Anyway, so yeah, so this guy would not back down, Representative King, and what he's saying is he doesn't care about the struggles of single mothers. He doesn't care about teenagers getting pregnant. He doesn't care about all of the things that can go into a person's decision to not have another child. He didn't give a damn about any of that. What he cares about is the baby white. It's pretty much what he said. And yes, that does, and I'm sure they are very intimidated by the influx of Latin American people, Mexican people to this country. When I went to high school in Indiana, everybody was black or white, right? That was it, pretty much. You guys see, occasionally you see an Asian person, Mexican person, but it's very rare. Now, when you go back there, there are whole Mexican neighborhoods, and they can't stand it. They hate it. They say, well, how are we going to be the power? How are we going to have privilege if we're not the biggest numbers? So just keep that in mind, that he has had something to say about his mouth on these tweets. These tweets are going to be the death of these Republicans that he will not back down from. What he's saying is they want more whites and less of everybody else. All right, you heard that from Representative King. If you want to contact his office, feel free. Good morning, people. It's Monday.